Tolkien speaks of Melkor, the first Dark Lord, lusting after the Silmarils, claiming that the very memory of their radiance was a gnawing fire in the heart of Melkor. What drove Melkor's desire for the Silmarils, and why did he subtly drive a wedge between the friendship of the Noldor and the Valar in order to claim these jewels as his own? In this video, I'm going to explain my thoughts about this lust of Melkor's, and hopefully show that his desire for the Silmarils was driven by hatred, fear, envy, and an uncontrollable love. When the Silmarils, created by Fëanor, are revealed to the inhabitants of Aman, they fill all who dwelt there with wonder and delight. Varda, the queen of the Valar, hallows them, and the doomsman of the Valar, Namo, foretells that the fate of Arda itself, of the earth, sea and air, lay locked within the jewels. Melkor immediately lusts after them, and then begins his plan to ruin the peace of Aman in order to obtain them. All who dwelt in Aman were filled with wonder and delight at the work of Fëanor, and Varda hallowed the Silmarils, so that thereafter no mortal flesh, nor hands unclean, nor anything of evil will might touch them. But it was scorched and withered, and Mandos foretold that the fates of Arda, earth, sea and air lay locked within them. The heart of Fëanor was fast bound to these things that he himself had made. Then Melkor lusted for the Silmarils, and the very memory of their radiance was a gnawing fire in his heart. From that time forth, inflamed by this desire, he sought ever more eagerly how he should destroy Fëanor and end the friendship of the Valar and the Elves, but he dissembled his purposes with cunning, and nothing of his malice could yet be seen in the semblance that he wore. Long was he at work, and slow at first and barren was his labour. As a Dark Lord, readers most likely associate Melkor with the characteristics fitting of such a title: darkness, blackened armour, fortresses of iron and fire. However, it's actually within the nature of Melkor to crave light itself, despite all of his associations with blackness and evil. When he sees the bliss of the children of Iluvatar and their place at the feet of the Valar, he is filled with hatred and is forced to hide his thoughts as the bright gems force him to consider vengeance against their happiness. Their bliss fills his heart with envy. Then he looked upon their glory and their bliss, and envy was in his heart. He looked upon the children of Iluvatar that sat at the feet of the mighty, and hatred filled him. He looked upon the wealth of bright gems, and he lusted for them, but he hid his thoughts and postponed his vengeance. Melkor desires the light of creation itself, one reason for his initial rebellion. With the spark of creation, he would be able to make in its purest form at will, effectively holding the power of the creator, Eru Iluvatar. The Silmarils were not the unobtainable flame imperishable, that power that was held by God, but were jewels containing the light from the two trees of Valinor, a captured moment of inspiration, and light in its purest form in the physical world. The trees were immensely bright and glorious to look upon, even resulting in some distinction between the elves who had looked upon them or had even dwelt near them, the Calaquendi, to those who hadn't, known as the Morroquendi. This light was captured within the Silmarils, shining like the stars of Varda. And the inner fire of the Silmarils Fëanor made of the blended light of the trees of Valinor, which lives in them yet, though the trees have long withered and shine no more. Therefore, even in the darkness of the deepest treasury, the Silmarils of their own radiance shone like the stars of Varda, and yet, as were they indeed living things, they rejoiced in light, and received it and gave it back in hues more marvellous than before. With the hallowing of the Silmarils, Melkor was doomed to an existence of constant pain if he dared touch them, but the pain of them could not halt his lust and desire to keep them. One reason for Melkor's lust could be his desire for the Vala Varda, who almost exists as some personification of light within Arda, the Lady of the Stars. She rejected Melkor and found happiness with his brother Manwë. Having the Silmarils would draw Melkor closer to the stature of Varda and the light itself. Her rejection of him caused him to hate and fear light, but he was still drawn by some innate desire to crave it and keep it for himself, loving it as well as hating it. Varda was a symbol of what Melkor could never obtain, a form that held the mastery of the light, a gift that he may have had a small part in, but only a small part, and not that power that was held by the Starkindler herself. By claiming this piece of subcreation, Melkor could believe he was closer to Varda, with her own power being unconquerable even by darkness itself. Melkor once took on a form that was considered exceedingly bright, and was possibly painful for others that he felt were beneath him to endure. The Silmarils were something he could never make or recreate, and in his own jealousy he would convince himself that as mightiest he should have them. As a shadow, Melkor did not then conceive himself, for in his beginning he loved and desired light, and the form that he took was exceedingly bright, and he said in his heart, "On such brightness as I am, the children shall hardly endure to look, therefore to know of aught else or beyond, or even to strain their small minds to conceive of it, would not be for their good." But the lesser brightness that stands before the greater becomes a darkness, and Melkor was jealous, therefore, of all other brightnesses, and wished to take all light unto himself. To me this means that despite the constant pain, Melkor was powerless when it came to admiring, loving, hating and craving the Silmarils and the light that they held. They were the brightest and most majestic objects within the physical world, and would be unmatched in any future endeavour of skill or craftsmanship. He took their brightness unto himself, as Tolkien says, and would display them in an extravagant crown, eventually being unable to even have anyone else look upon them as he sat on a throne in the deeps of his dark fortress. To Melkor these jewels were his by right, as the self-proclaimed king of the world and mightiest of all in Arda. Spilling blood to take them, and to keep them, was a minor inconvenience. But he was now left with a constant reminder of his dark thoughts and will through their burning, with the most beautiful objects in Arda now sitting upon a dark and monstrous tyrant, the light of the Silmarils only revealing to all who could look upon them just how low Melkor had fallen. Thanks for watching this video. I just wanted to add a quick note at the end here. Originally this was about twice as long, as I went into quite a bit of depth about Melkor's relationship with Varda that was briefly mentioned, and his eventual fear of Varda. Tolkien actually tells us that Melkor feared Varda above all others, so I thought this was such an interesting comment in itself that I've decided to basically dedicate a video entirely to Melkor's fear of Varda, perhaps as some sort of companion video to this one. That'll get posted at a later date, but again thanks for watching, and if you liked any of the artwork used in this video, the description has details on where to find all of those pieces and the artists behind them, so make sure to check them out, and I hope to see you back for the next video.